Ooh, more records. Hello, welcome back to another episode here of Heavy Rotation here on Studio Funk. The series focuses on records in my collection. Those are in heavy rotation. And for today's episode, what I felt I'd do is share some records that are all going to be 80s releases. So you want to see no modern day releases within this. And mainly because I've been listening to a lot more, let's say, music of the past than recent releases. But also, I made some great discoveries recently as well, which I'm going to be including in this special episode as well. But before we get into that, a bit of housekeeping. So I think in my last video, a few people were saying to me that basically, why don't you share clips of the records or nothing like that, or play the music? And it's mainly because of one word: copyright. So as you would expect, copyright is a thing, especially when it comes to music. And because I'm creating these videos and it's almost like, it's my own creation videos here where I discuss and talk about these records, I thought where records are going to be copyrighted, I shouldn't share or play them. It's for you to then to go investigate and look into them yourself, especially when it comes to things like the modern day releases. But just to say as well, I do include links in the description to those records of modern day releases. But I will say this, for this special episode here, you are going to get some clips. Yes, I'm going to be providing some snippets and clips of some of these records that I'm going to be showcasing today. Well, keep us on the low, but these records are not copyrighted yet. And that's mainly because as well, as a YouTube channel grows as well, I want to make sure that, I'm able to monetize these videos if it was ever be allowed or come to that down the line. It makes sure that these videos down the line have growth as well. Anyway, let's not hold things up anymore. Let's get into this episode.
Studio Funk.
So, this first record we're going to get into is a recent discovery that I picked up. One I wasn't aware of at all. And I have to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Mr. Chris Wheatley. Shout out to him, who put me onto this the other day when I was at some event or whatever. He was, had a few records to sell, as he does, as usual. And I picked up this record, and to my surprise, it is a very good record. Now, this is almost like a hidden gem in that sense, and I think this is going to be something that most of you are going to be like, wow, this is a bit of a sleeper. But the record I'm talking about here is by Eazy, with a record called Project Funk. Now, some of you might not be aware of this. It was released in 1981. It was released on Vanguard Disco. A bit of a notorious label when it comes to disco, funk, soul, over the early 80s, especially late 70s as well. But this is great. And one of the things that stood out to me when looking at and discovering this record was the fact this was produced by Daryl Payne. Now, some of you might not know who he is, but I would say Daryl Payne needs no introduction. He's produced a lot of great records. Numerous ones. I'm not going to wheel them off right now. I'm just going to showcase some images here just to give you some insight of what he's produced in the past. Some great singles as well. I'm working with various labels as well. But this is great, man. What surprises me about this is just how loud it is. It is dance floor ready. It's one of those records that it completely surprises you. So when it comes to records, I don't usually like to talk about price because I feel like pricing of records is subjective, because one record to one person could be expensive, one record to another person could be quite cheap. We all have our own financial situations, right? So I'm not going to pull this out and say this is an expensive record. I'm not going to call this and say this is a cheap record, but I will say it's a good catch. Okay, frick it, it's a cheap record. So this is a really fantastic track, and I'm going to get into a little clip of it in a moment. But best way I could describe this is just, it's a nice boogie funk tune. It's got a great chorus. The instrumentation arrangement is fantastic throughout. It's got a nice long play as well. And also as well, this record does have instrumental on the B side as well. So if you're a person like me, and sometimes you want to mix out these records and you want to do instrumental going into the vocal, get doubles. And I would say as well, this is definitely going to be a record that maybe after this video gets published or down the line months later, the stock market is going to rise on this particular record. But anyway, check this out.
So come on everybody, and if you want to party, just do that thing and do it good, 'cause Project Funk is in your neighborhood.
So come on everybody and just take a ride on the Project Funk. Funkin' with you makes you wanna do a freaking thing to shout.
Come on, sing with me now.
Project Funk for you, you like it too. Project Funk for you, it makes you wanna get down. Project Funk for you, you like it too. Project Funk for you, it makes you get down, baby. Project Funk for you, you like it too. Project Funk for you. Project Funk for you, you like it too. Project Funk for you.
But yeah, this is just a nice little pickup, something nice that I picked up not too long ago, and I thought to myself, this is definitely worth showcasing. But it's one of those ones where, you know, when a friend of yours puts you onto something that's almost like a hidden gem, sometimes you want to keep the secret between yourselves. But I'm sure Chris wouldn't mind that I shared this, because it's a great record, and I know that he had good reception from this, and I think he told me that he did play this record on the Natasha Diggs Soul on the Horn stuff not too long ago. So yeah, great stuff. Amazing record.
スタジオファンク
The other day I was out digging for some records, and I want to give a big shout out to a friend of mine, Ali, at the Warm Agency, Warm Records here locally in my area, and he pointed out to me that he recently bought a collection of records, like a lot of records, and I'm yet to go through all of them, and I will be going through them quite soon, but I started going through a few, let's say, boxes, and the collection is mainly, let's say, some house records, mainly like late 80s to early 90s, but also a mixture of some like funk and electro as well. It's going to be a collection of records you're going to find quite interesting, mainly because as well, it's a collection of records you don't necessarily dig for on a usual basis. So digging through these records, I found this great record, this fantastic 12-inch by Dionne with a track called Kisses. Now, this is a house record, and this was released in 1991, and it was released on Serin America label. What I like about this record is that, yes, it's a house record, but, you know, it's not your traditional house record. And what's great about this, it is released in 1991, and it's still released in the era of Detroit house. Now, I'm not going to go into a big historian video here talking about house music and the importance of Detroit in the scene for creating house music as well. But this is a great example of music from the era and from that scene. So like I said, this is the record of Dionne with a track called Kisses. And it's got the producers by Brian Hall, Art Forrest, and Santonio Echols. And executive producer DJ Dionne Evans as well. So what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to give you a clip and a snippet of the radio mix track of Kisses. This is so good, and I don't want to hype this up too much because, you know, taste is subjective, but yeah, this is great, man. I have to admit, when I was digging through this and I listened to it, it was an immediate buy immediately. makes me really like this record and what makes me gravitate towards it, it has quite a nice, obviously, underground, raw edge and feel towards it. It almost sometimes reminds me of, around that same time of that era as well, of British music, the street soul music around that time, the late 80s and early 90s. And I think it's down to the fact how the vocals are being recorded. So it almost feels that British kind of flavour to it, though it is a house record. But at the same time, it's got this nice conversion where it almost sounds like it could come across as a modern funk record as well at the same time. It has like a boogie kind of signature background to it a little bit with that bass and that, you know, and the various instrumentation throughout as well. But yeah, it's just a really delightful surprise. Dionne Kisses is definitely going to get some decent plays from me. There are various different other mixes on this record. You've got a mix by Santanio Echoes as well. You've also got another track on here called Special Someone with a Brian special mix as well, which is a different track altogether. But yeah, I kind of feel like this is definitely a record that many house heads and those who are familiar with this record around that era or around those particular producers will be nodding their head quite fiercely like, yes, this is a great 12-inch. But yeah, I think this is something you're not going to find around that often, and definitely that, you know, if you come across it, you have to pick it up. Great record.
Kisses for the good
スタ
times
ジオファンク
and all the fun we had.
Okay, keeping it moving right here on Heavy Rotation. We've got another selection. What I'm going to start doing now is going through some nice 7-inch singles, some nice 45s. So recently I have been in touch with another guy talking about collections and talking about records. Seems to be a bit of a theme here, but this time a bit of a smaller record. We got a nice 7-inch 45 by Bryd Pressley with a track called Something to You Remember You By. This is a lovely record. This is a great modern soul, I would say, like stepper. Really, really, really nice. This is something great, man. It's on Heat label, which is a label coming out of Ohio. But yeah, Something to Remember You By is a great track. And we're going to get into a snippet right now.
That day we met each other, it seemed so right. You wanted me to be with you each and every night. I had no choice but to believe that you loved me, girl. I never knew this love would ever end. Baby, you left me something to remember you by. My broken heart, it messed up mine.
Heat label, pun intended, they do pack a lot of heat. But yeah, this label coming out of Ohio, Heat, man, they release a lot of good stuff. There's some nice good records on there, and I don't want to go too much into it now, but maybe another time I could showcase a lot of the selections from the Heat collection, which I have in my collection myself. But yeah, this is a nice record. It's a nice modern soul, I would say, stepper. Nice tempo, great vocals throughout. It's just great, man, and something that I think a lot of people might be sleeping on. And once again, I feel like after this video gets published and it starts circulating for the next month or so, stock market may rise. So in advance, I'm gonna say sorry, my bad.
スタジオファンク
More records coming your way. And this next one right here is another 45 release. And this was actually something that was on my want list for quite some time. And been lucky enough to get hold of this record finally. And this goes by a fantastic group called Pictures. And this is with a track called Count on Me. And this was released in 1984 on a label called Southwest Experience Records. And this is great, man. This is some straight out of like some Southern America, Dallas, Texas record that is just raw, funk that I think a lot of collectors like myself who look into records like this are quite well aware of, and also aware of the other 7-inch single released by Pictures. That seems to be a record that is skyrocketing in price and also very hard to get hold of. So that's still on my list to get hold of, but let's hope that I catch that soon. But yeah, it's a big fish. But yeah, back to this record right here. This is great, man. Count on Me. That classic like indie boogie funk releases around that era. And, you know, I always like to think that 1984 is a special year when it comes to music. And I definitely think so. It's just one of those things where in that particular era, you had a lot of independent artists, especially in America, who were just releasing music like no tomorrow and all releasing quite independently. And I like to say this is definitely a private press record, Southwest Experience record, but I think they released another record on there, a 12-inch as well, which is a actual rap record as well. But yeah, this is great, man. Really good. And really nice to have this fun in my collection. Excellent. So this next record, I'm going to say, is definitely an ace of mine, something that you want to keep in your back pocket. And if this were the days of like sound clash, or you clash with another person and you're going to play records, and you're going to drop a record to almost like kill their sound, as you would say in that particular thing. This isn't a reggae record, mind you, so this is not like some dance or like sound clash tune, but you get the idea. But this is a record that is great, man. I want to say this is a double-sider. I think both sides are really good here. So the record I'm talking about here goes by a group called Fantastyk, with the tracks called I Love You, and Tell Me All Your Fantasies. And this was released on Aflogic Music Group. This is definitely another one of those independent private press records, which is very hard to come by. And guess what as well? It's released in 1984. So you guessed it, more greatness coming from that year. But yeah, this is great, man. This is one of those records where it's just so good to put on, and especially when you come talking about the B-side, Tell Me All Your Fantasies, it's just a really overall good track. And I got this feeling that this is going to be one of the records that more people are going to discover. And God forbid if a label ends up reissuing this somehow, some way. But yeah, this is great, man. Another example of independent American artists around the mid-80s releasing some fantastic music on 7-inch records that remain mainly underground and very hard to come by. But yeah, the other side of the record with the A-side, I Love You, slower pace, more down-tempo, almost like ballad to that scent. It's still a great track as well, and I feel like you can play both sides here.
You look so fine, so fine. Tell me all your fantasies. Unlock the secrets of your mind. Oh yeah, yeah. Tell me all your fantasies. You look so fine, so fine. Girl, I want to know what's on your mind. I'm wondering about what I can find.
is just like nasty, man. It's just so good. The solo as well and the break within it is just like chef kiss, so good. But yeah, this is just one of those things where it remained probably one of my favorite records in my collection. It definitely goes into the ace box, I like to call it. Records you can pull out and just blow people's minds. But yeah, Fantastyk, Tell Me All Your Fantasies.
Tell me all your fantasies. You know that you look so fine. Baby, you look so fine. Hey, tell me all your fantasies.
スタジオファンク
So that's the end of my selections. I hope you enjoyed the episode. It's been good to go through these a little bit, some nice unique records in there. Like I said before, some independent releases as well, private press, some low-key gems you should be looking out for, and obviously as well a nice curveball as well from a nice house record / funk soul record as well. But yeah, overall, man, I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Don't forget to like as well if you enjoyed the video. But what did you think about the selection here? Is there anything that stood out to you quite liked? Is there a record that in this collection that you actually do own yourself? Do let me know. Until the next time, take care.